is Scott with Organolock. I hope you'll be able to hear me here. Do a demonstration of the BPS1000. It's 27th of September. I'll start with the basics. This part of the system is the heating system. So we have fuel in here. I'll show you in a minute. It's a mixture of sawdust and coffee because we're drying coffee at the moment. This is the firebox itself. So the biomass comes up, drops into the firebox where it's heated. Gases come across here into the hot water heat exchanger, and then you'll see on the other side where you actually shuttle off some of the hot gases and go into the drying system where we do what we call flash drying. So over here, biomass fuel mixed with coffee. It's a very rich, easy to burn fuel. Show you real quick the controls. We've asked it to run at 1600 F. Currently running 1566 at a speed of 9%. So we'll see that speed up here, maintaining these temperatures. And that's the kind of performance we're getting out of the machine right there. So that's the combustion, and this is the output heat exchange. So it's doing its thing. Computer's got control of that, doing all the automated stuff. And over here is what we call the product bin, where we're dumping in used coffee grounds that are wet. You can see the bags here. And we laid these out on the ground yesterday to get the majority of the drips out of the ones that were in the bottom. But there's still, it's 50 to 60% moisture. I'll pick up that number here in a little bit with an oven. I'm not sure what this batch is. So in this case, we go to the other side of the system where we have this, what we call a product bin again, into an auger, drops into an airlock right there. And that airlock then drops it into this top tube. And over here where you see the installation is where we start with the hot water jacket. Before that, we're actually bringing in hot gas from burner into the hot tube along with the coffee. So we get a flash drying effect where we use a lot of high temperature air. It's coming in at 1,000 degrees right now. So we hit the coffee, it flashes off the moisture, but it does not damage the coffee. And then it travels down this top tube and then back and forth through a total of 5 tubes. Then it comes out the back end here where it's going to get a little noisy. There's a hammer mill here that isn't necessary for coffee, but the customer that bought this machine is doing horsepower, so we needed a hammer mill. So the output comes here, out of an airlock again, hammer mill, out of the hammer mill, into the bag. So there's the coffee coming out here. We're running at 15% speed right now because we're trying to work our way up. We've been too dry, but I'm trying to get myself up to 13% right now. So I can do that so we can see a little more. So doing exactly what it's supposed to do. We're fine-tuning this particular product right now in terms of speed. This is where we pick up the air and pull the air from the firebox all the way back here so that the steam, if you want to call it that, the humid air comes up into this fan, into a cyclone. It collects, binds, and a few things like that, and then drops it back into the second tube so it can continue drying and come out through the final product. And then right here is the emissions that you would see. And right now we got a little bit of steam in there, not much. It tells me we're still a little bit dry. You can see a little more steam. And then for the benefit of our coffee people at Heartland, maybe you can see it. There's a little bit of a white haze coming off of there. That's the actual burner exhaust. Most of it's being sucked through the drying system, but what residue we get's got a little bit of a haze. And that happens anytime you do a biomass that's got a little bit of oil in it. Not any particulate in particular, but we can scrub that out as well if we want to add the scrubber option. So there it is, running really well. I'll keep creeping it up to see where our maximum speed is to get 13. Oh, I should show you too. Here's your heat dump system. It runs periodically if the water gets too hot, because we don't ever want the burner to shut down off its high temp settings. So we bump that on before it can get too hot to make sure that this continues to run at full speed. So there you go. I just changed this bag out about a half hour ago. It's about half full already, so not too bad.